Hi everybody, my name is Levi Clay and I am back again for another guitar lesson. This time we are digging in to the really kind of unique and slippery style of the incredible Mike Stern. I've been uploading a fair few Mike Stern videos to the channel just recently because I've always been an absolutely massive fan of Mike's playing. And of course, being quarantined gives me an opportunity to sit down and practice some of the things that I could be practicing at other times of the year, but make excuses as to why I'm not. So recently I did a listening party stream, and if you are unfamiliar with my listening parties, very simple concept. We sit down collectively and listen to a record live. You stream it and I stream it, we listen to it, we talk about it, we make notes of the things that we like on it, talk about things we don't like, talk about the history of the album. It's just an opportunity to really objectively listen to something. I don't think we really do that anymore. In the old days where you used to sit around with friends and listen to an album and talk about it, I'm trying to recreate that. So if that appeals to you, please do make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification icon so you make sure you know when I'm doing those streams so you can participate in some moving forward. So we listened to the Mike Stern record Jigsaw. I think that's Mike's fourth record. It's a cool record with some great playing on it. And what I did while I was listening to the record was I made note of any licks as they were going by that I thought would be interesting to analyse and to study. And I think I took a good 15 or 20 licks off of the record. And then after the listening party, I sat down and I transcribed them all. And then I learned to play them, and the goal was to get an idea of Mike Stern's musical DNA. So I thought I'd make a video talking to you about what I'd learned and some of the tricky picking aspects of his style, some of the really complicated things that are involved in learning to play like Mike Stern. So without further ado, let's take a look at the first lick. This is going to be a short one. It sounds like this. Okay, right, so this is a slick little lick over a G minor chord. And as you heard it up to speed, let me play it a little bit slower for you. Played slowly, it sounds like this. That's the lick played nice and slowly. So this is definitely a really interesting lick because after the initial phrase, and perhaps even from there we have that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 notes on the B string. There are 7 consecutive notes played on the B string, and in order to play this one you can't fall into your typical caged fingerings or your 3-note string fingerings. There's going to be a lot of kind of juggling, if you like. Well, it's really kind of slippery dancing of the fingers, if you like, and a lot of shifting on the index finger sliding down the neck. Now the thing that I really want to point out, and this is going to run throughout all of these 3 licks, is that in order to get this sound that Mike has, it's very important that we're accenting weak beats or upstrokes and putting less emphasis on the downbeats. It's not like we're going there's more emphasis on the upstrokes. Now I'm really emphasising the shuffle nature of it there. When Mike plays it, it's not quite as swung as that, but that emphasis is really important. Now the only way I can actually do that is with this constant motion in my hand, because this tells me where the upstrokes are. If I were to economy pick this or hybrid pick this or play it with all downstrokes or where, play it fingerstyle, getting a feel for where those upstrokes or weak beats I should say fall is very, very difficult. Now I covered this in a video a long time ago called Swing Picking. I'd recommend that you check that out. In essence, it's not just about playing the right notes in order to get the sound of this lick right. It's very, very important that you adhere to the articulation. So I'm going to break the lick down for you now, nice and slowly now. So it begins, and I kind of take my playing out of a lot of the cage system. So for me, it's useful to know how I access this lick. It's a lick in G minor, and it can be found up here in this C shape. So I can access it by starting on that root note of my G scale. And we're moving up a minor triad. So we play 8 on the B, 6 and 10 on the high E. And then we're picking again. Now just practicing that into the next part where we play 8, 6, slide down to 5. That's what this is all about, getting that particular lick. So I'm adding another 8 fret on the B string. Now here's where we get really fun and chromatic. So after playing that 8 fret on the B, we have 7, 5 to 6, 4, slide down to 3. So now that in itself is tricky. Now watch my picking hand as I do that. It keeps that solid motion going, and that helps me with the timing of this. So after playing that, we then move down onto the G string and we play. So it's just, again, it's kind of thinking G Dorian, right? So we're descending down 5, 3 and 2, jump back up to the high note, 5, 2, 3, 5. Up to the 3rd fret on the B, and then we're sliding into that, what's the 5th of the chord of our G. Sorry. That's a cool lick, and it is short. It is a short one, don't get me wrong. But in order to get this one down in the long run, or certainly to get the longer licks down, that little mechanic of picking notes and then sliding down is going to be something you're going to want to work on. So here's that lick played one more time with the backing track. Sounds like this. Now on to the next lick. Sounds like this. So this lick's a lick in E minor. Playing E minor 9 if you like. It really doesn't matter what doesn't matter. The sound is, I'm thinking E minor. Mike's certainly thinking E minor. And kind of like the last lick, it has this tricky movement whereby we're playing a lot of consecutive notes on a single string. So I begin by playing 14 and 12 on the D string. And then that moves down chromatically. Now that's going to take some time. You need to take that real slow. 14, 12, 13, 11, then 12, 10, slide to 9, and then 12 on the A string. And again, picking wise, down, up, slide. That slide is on an upstroke. I get carried away and play music all day long. So there's that first phrase. Then from there, we have this kind of, I don't really know how I think of this. It's like a turn in my mind. Mike has a lot of kind of classical influence in the way he plays. And sometimes he'll take these scalar ideas and play what I think of as being a turn to turn the lick round and change the direction. So after playing that descending, we have this to turn it around. Now I know that I'm rushing through these. All of these transcriptions tabs will be posted on my Patreon page. So if you Patreon supporters, you'll have access to all of this. Sorry. Now from there we have this kind of strange ascending, almost, well, it's an arpeggio idea. It's a G major triad, followed by a C major triad. And then this is almost like a D7, or D7 flat 9. That's a challenge for your alternate picking, right? And we want to keep that alternate because, as I said with the previous lick, that type of thing, we need to keep that motion going because it helps with the rhythm. It helps with that kind of shuffly swagger that Mike's licks tend to have. So we have that D7 flat 9. We're descending. And then I really like this part. Sorry. That's just, you think of it a lot of things. Because I've just played a D7 flat 9, I'm kind of thinking of it as being Mixolydian, even though we're playing over an E chord. So I guess we should really be thinking Dorian. Just like I say, after playing a D7 flat 9, my ear kind of gravitates towards that sound, but that's a subject for another day. So yeah, descending down 12, 10, and then 12, 11, 9. And that's pick, pick, pull off, down to 12. And then the thing that's really fun about that, we then hit that 8th fret on the G string. Now that, I guess that's kind of melodic minor, E melodic minor. Definitely E melodic minor. So cool. And then coming down, definitely a lot of E melodic minor in there, and that's an ear twister. Nice little lick. Let me play that one again up to speed for you. Sounds like this. And now finally, the coolest lick in the video, the one that I did at the start. This is the one that really made me go, you know what, I want to do a video. This is a long lick, and it really a culmination of all of the little picking mechanics that you will have worked on up to this point. Do not think you can jump in at this one. This one is going to be a challenge. So it sounds like this. Now just play that one more time for you nice and slow. It's over an F minor chord. And it sounds like this. Definitely a really cool sounding lick, and the thing I really like about it is you definitely have that repeating mechanic. If you listen to this, that mechanic that he plays a lot of that kind of idea. 1, 2, 3, 4, the 4-note melodic motif, and then a descending 4-note motif that is 3 more notes on that string with a slide. And then that just continues. Let me play it from the start. Sorry. Now that's tricky. That's 11 on the B, 10 on the B, sliding down to 9, jumping up to 13, and then repeating 11, 9, 9 to 8. And then from there, definitely F melodic minor. We hit 10 pull off to 9, and then descending down again, kind of the same melodic idea. 4 notes on that D string. So now what I want to do is play that real slow for you, that entire phrase. Again, follow the tab, because on Patreon I'll play it nice and slow for you. But the focus is, where does each one of these slides fall? Every single one of these slides falls on an upstroke. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, if you think that's by accident, then you would be foolish. It's not by accident, very much by design. This is an imitation of saxophone lines. This is the way saxophonists phrase. Mike Stern has played with a lot of great saxophonists like Michael Brecker and Bob Berg. Too many, and Bill Evans, too many great saxophonists to name, because that's a sound that he's very much into. And if we think that he hasn't learnt to imitate the things that those guys kind of do, again, it would be very foolish. So you can hear the repeating motif in that, I like to think. That's definitely very cool. And then from there we move up. And again, you can see this as being arpeggios, right? Let's go from the top, we go. So what would that be? It's an A flat major 7, right? Well, that's a B flat 7 arpeggio. And then it's really fun. Now at speed, that's really tricky. And it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 consecutive notes on that high E string. That's a technical challenge. And you'll notice on the end there's that slide. Where does it fall? On an upstroke. Play that nice and slowly for you. And then when we're down here, again, still thinking F minor. I have that F minor shape. And the lick that we play is, where do we go from? So again, it's one of those turns. Very bebop in nature, these types of licks. Now let me play that one real fast for you. Really cool. Now, much like with the first lick, the whole point of a lick like this is so I can access it, something that I can use in my own vocabulary. So I need to be able to access it. So this lick begins on the root note, very much F melodic minor. Root, major 7, 9, major 7. And then when we shift, I need to be able to access it. And earlier on, I said, you know, it fits around this F minor chord here, fits around this F minor chord here. Getting carried away. Big fan of Mike Stern, and you definitely hear it in my phrasing. Anyway, let me just play that lick for you one last time with the backing tracks. Sounds like this. Now, there's no denying that these licks are cool, they are definitely challenging, and most importantly, they are unorthodox. They do not follow your traditional guitar pedagogy. It's very much a bebop tradition, the way Mike plays, and that is definitely at odds with guitar fingering patterns. The way that we play the guitar traditionally, the way that guitar fingerings are taught, make the kinds of lines that Mike plays quite tricky to learn. They require a lot of practice, but this is a school of playing. You have guys that play like that. Guys like Pat Metheny, they phrase like that. Guys like Pat Martino, they phrase like that. Guys like John Schofield, they phrase like that. This is a big part of that kind of bebop idiom, and transitioning that vocabulary onto the guitar is not, you don't do that like a blues guitar player. You don't go, how can I do that kind of thing but for my instrument? It's not about that. Bebop vocabulary is very much about playing it authentically, making it sound like it should. And on the guitar, that sometimes means some of these awkward, tricky little fingerings. But I think the results are well worth it. What do you guys think, though? Let me know in that comment section below. Are you a fan of Mike's playing? And yeah, how did you get on with those licks? Definitely some tricky ideas in there. Lastly, as always, just want to say a huge thank you to my Patreon supporters. In these trying times, these COVID-19 times, it's nice that I can spend more time sitting at home and practicing, but I would also like to be doing more work, and a lot of that has disappeared at the moment, and my Patreon page has kept me going. So thank you very much for your kindness, generosity and support. If you'd like to check me out on Patreon, there is a link in the description. You can also check me out on Amazon. Book sales are quite slow at the moment, you know, again, trying times, but if any of those books do appeal to you, just search for Levi Clay, you will find some of my works. Awesome. Thanks so much for checking this video out, guys. If you did enjoy it, you can check me out on Patreon by clicking this button up here, subscribe by clicking this button down here, and you will see 2 more of my videos here and here. Thank you so much for your time. Please do subscribe, comment, share it with your friends, and I will see you for another video soon. Goodbye.